I've had a foot in Kalamazoo for 20 years now. I'm going to be 38 next month, and I spent 4 years at Western, and my parents even taught at Western for before I was a student there. My mom had a long and storied career at the university, and it's only the last 8 years that I've served as a church pastor here. Prior to that, I worked for Isaac under Rachel Tanner, and was a community organizer. And so, these last 20 years have given me a perspective on what's possible and what's effective and what's not. As I said, we're having our third child here in May, and I have an opportunity to move back home to Kent County. I want to teach my kids how to hunt. I want to grow food. I want to get back to the experiences that I had as a kid, and I want to be able to give them to my kids. And that's really what's driving a lot of it. But 8 years in ministry, it's been we've done a lot. There's a lot that's happened. And at First Congo, we've tried to really create more of a sort of a frontier mentality where every single person who comes through the door is potentially an angel in disguise, or is potentially Jesus Christ himself stopping in to check on us and see how we're doing. And when you start to take that kind of an attitude, the things that you see when you're driving around your city, you can't ignore them anymore. The homelessness crisis in this city is absolutely out of hand, and has been for a long time. These churches, like First Congregational, they're these generational things. Like FCC is almost 200 years old. It's older than the city of Kalamazoo. Nobody who's a part of FCC has been there for the majority of the life of the church. Right? So nobody gets to stand up and say, I'm the most important. Everybody's living in the shadow of trees that were planted by people who died 100 years ago. So that's a cool thing about being involved in these historic churches, is that they have these deep histories. And you are just a part of it. I am one of 29 people who have been senior pastors in that church, and there'll be 29 more after me. And I prefer that deep history. And Kalamazoo is the same. We may have Jim Ritzma now, we may have the leaders that we have, but they're part of something that's larger than themselves. And so we always have to think about our place in the legacy of the institutions that we support. I've served 6 churches in 6 different cities, all different sizes, and Kalamazoo is just an amazing town. And I think it's because you're landlocked, so Kalamazoo is forced to deal with itself in a way that a lot of other cities aren't, because they can grow. Mm-hmm. But Kalamazoo, you are playing the hand that you have been dealt, and that's it. I've invested a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this community, and it means the world to me to see her thrive, continue to grow.